If you're watching this video, maybe you've been hearing or telling yourself lies about yourself, things that you no longer are, and being pulled down to believe those lies. Yesterday, I woke up and I was praying. I was telling God everything that I was thankful for. I was thanking Him for all the things that He's carried me through and all the things that I am now through Him. It took a few minutes of me pausing and then actually thinking about all the things that I've been through. And then suddenly I started getting these angry thoughts about you wouldn't have wasted so much time in your life if you've only not been so stupid. All of these things that happened to you because you're stupid. You knew something was wrong and you didn't listen to yourself. Serves you well. Things that may seem true, but they're masked with a lot of cruelty. A cruelty that keeps you down, a cruelty that keeps you there, keeps you in that space of depression, of sadness, anxiety. Luckily, I was able to catch myself and I was like, whoa. I put the brakes and I'm like, these thoughts that I'm having are not Jesus. These are not thoughts that are aligned with Jesus's character. So I rebuked it. I asked the Lord to keep my thoughts aligned with Him. And before I ended my prayer, I remembered that the Bible constantly points at the fact that Satan is the father of lies. So anyway, I end my prayer and then I go straight to my devotional. And what do I see in my devotional? What do I see? The lies become repetitive loops playing with our thinking, and when left unchecked, become constraints, choking the abundant life God intended for us. Jesus describes Satan as the father of lies. And much of our stress, anxiety, and negative responses to situations flow from believing Satan's deception. And boy, oh boy, was starting to feel very angry at others who had done me wrong. I was starting to go into that pit again, and replaying everything over and over. I was feeling misaligned. I was feeling unaligned to Jesus from a few seconds earlier. Anyway, goes on. Good news is that we have Christ in us, who combats any scheme that Satan tries to play in our minds. Anytime you revisit your past, that was me, without remembering how God sees and loves you, you subject yourself to the spirit of deception, which is why we must guard against having any self-talk that differs from God's truth. When we learn to understand and develop our emotional responses, we increase our ability to be relational. My friends, keep your thoughts in check. Anything that is not uplifting, anything that it does not push you to be better, there are convicting thoughts, but there are convicting thoughts that make us better. If we're having thoughts that push us into feeling depressed and anxious, that is not of God. And then after I read the devotional, there was this verse, 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. If you are trying to have your walk with God, if you just found God, if you have decided to give your life to God, you are made new. When you're having these thoughts, I would suggest that you just think in your mind, I will not resist the truth of what the cross accomplished in us, in me. I do not resist the truth of the cross, that I am made new in Jesus, that I am made new in God. Renewal will happen as we learn to align our thoughts with God's truth. If you listen to this and you've been struggling with it, just remember that God gives us not a spirit of fear, but a spirit of peace, a power, a sound mind.